This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no wrong, but then military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I can't tell me. Remember when me tell you say I can't tell me. Yeah, I remember that one that called us a Bruce Mero. But the way you go like a Abapanuku. But them way go hero. Me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi Samiro. Me tell you what I day. For me the front and the rest of man I tell you what I do. Me know that you come to tell them
heroes, I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eyes. For other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in the heart, we'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom. They died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front. Without food, without guns. For our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart. Forever, 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 and never, and never, and never.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in the heart, we bleeding inside, tears in the eyes, so I'm following you.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause we to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for me, for the freedom of my unborn child. We live for
march on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah, you know what it is. We must revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fighting a war, knowing the difficulties, the odds against us, there is an element of fatalism, people feeling, well, if the world chooses to abandon us, then perhaps it is better we all perish. They don't ever consider a Biafra not free. They believe in either Biafra free or no Biafra at all. That means none of us living to see it.
I need Biafra freedom. We Biafrans, we need Biafra freedom. For this, I decided, even to die, that Biafra must have its own freedom.
I want us to work systematically towards the establishment of a good, progressive, and democratic society where all vestiges of privilege and social injustice will be abolished, and the rich contribute more for the welfare of the poor. If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
We'll surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people. We have made all attempts at a democratic resolution of this crisis. I have offered open elections, plebiscites. I have offered just an open carte blanche suggestion, anybody who can find a democratic way of finding out the wishes of the people, let him suggest it and we will go for it.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Holy, holy.
If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at what else again? Pending before the UN. in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a movement that I lead. You think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this evening program. We appreciate everybody who has connected wherever you're connecting from. Please like and share the program to family and friends. Share the program to your neighbors. Share the program to everyone that is close to you. Very important. We must share the program and make sure that everybody gets this information. Don't keep it to yourself. We have come once again, as we promised, to continue to preach the gospel of Biafra, to continue to create awareness and let the world know what is going on in Biafra land. Remember that the protest for our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is tomorrow, and already many Biafrans have arrived Finland already. Many Biafrans have arrived Finland. So tomorrow we are going to try and follow up tomorrow. And as we follow up tomorrow, we'll be bringing you updates tomorrow from Finland. So wherever you are, try to join us. If you did not go, you still have a role to play. The role you're going to play is to help and share the information, to help and create awareness, and to continue to give our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa support any way you can. You can still support him spiritually by praying, whatever be your religion, whether you're a traditionalist, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you are a Hindu, you are a Jewish, whichever religion that you belong to. Tomorrow is an opportunity for us to pray and ask Chukwu to come and stand for our Prime Minister. This is an opportunity of a lifetime to change the wrong they have done to Mazi Simon Ekpa and to make it right. How are we going to change it? We can change it by doing the right thing. And we also believe that by the special grace of Chukwu that the Finnish court will be able to do right. I can see my brother there, Uche Onyende, my only brother, who is always here with me anytime, any day, any minute. I appreciate you, my brother, Uche Onyende. Thank you so much. So we will bring updates tomorrow from Finland. We'll follow it up. So today, this is the eve of that protest. Continue to do your best. Pray for Mazi Simon Ekpa, support in any way you can, and continue to pray that everything will turn out for our own good. And remember, on the 5th, the process of the court will start. They are going to start to be fixed date. On the 5th, you're going to know the actual date. But from all indication, the main televising and people getting into the court will be on the 10th. That's what you are hearing, that the main transmission will be on the 10th. So by 10th, that is when people can be able to go into the court. So for those who are still there, make yourself, try to manage yourself so that you can be there until 10th. Try to manage yourself. If your flight is tight, try to see as you can be and expand your flight. Very important. So wherever you are watching from, continue to share to others to know what is actually going on. So this evening we have come to encourage Biafrans, those who are in Finland and those who are in various places. Tomorrow is hashtag Justice for Simon Ekpa. Tomorrow is hashtag Justice for Simon Ekpa. Wherever you are, whether you are in Finland or not in Finland, you have to use that hashtag tomorrow. Make it go viral. Hashtag Justice for Mazi Simon Ekpa. And we believe that tomorrow is going to be the game changer. So wherever you are, do your own part and let Chukwu Kabiama do his own for us. Wherever you are watching this program from, I welcome you. And I want you to pay attention to the videos we are going to play this evening. They are very interesting videos that I have messages to pass. The video you're going to watch now is the protest in Biafra land in support of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You can see IPOB have resumed protests in Nigeria for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, in Abia State to precise. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu still enjoy 100% support of the Biafran people. So anybody who is preaching any lie or trying to create any narrative or preaching lie, you are wasting your time. You're wasting your time and energy. The IPOB that we know is under Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Every other thing is fake. And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is the one today that is in prison, suffering because of this IPOB. If anybody is trying to tell you something else, don't listen to them. Let us watch the protest that's going on in Biafra land. After that, we'll watch some other videos and we'll go to the conventional media and also see some important information that has to do with us. That was the protests in Biafra land in support of our Supreme Leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Today, this happened today. This protest was today in Biafra land. So Biafrans continue to support Mazen Nnamdi Kanu regardless the propaganda and blackmails. When they push their propaganda, they think that by spilling those lies, they think they use it to confuse Biafrans. But the more they try, that's the more they fail. And they will continue to fail more and more. They will continue to fail. We must continue to support our Supreme Leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu wherever you are, in any way you can. We can see people on the front line in Biafra land. They are not relenting. They took all the risk, put their life on the line to pursue the truth and to stand for the truth. So those of us who are abroad and all you do is to come online and talk rubbish, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be very, very ashamed of yourself. These are Biafrans, genuine Biafrans who are on the ground doing the needful. As we speak, our land is under invasion. They are attacking our land, so many atrocities against us. And we will not keep silent. We will not keep silent and pretend all is well. We will continue to expose these criminals. We will continue to speak to the international community on what is happening. So I want us to listen to this. The atrocities that's happening in Biafra land today that nobody's talking about. Let's watch this. This is one of the things that is happening in Biafra land. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody pretend they are not seeing it. Everybody's pretending. For how long will they continue to pretend? For how long will they continue to pretend? But as they continue to pretend, his position will continue. I want you to listen to this.
Our people, since 4 years now, they are homeless. Their houses have been destroyed by the Fulani terrorists. And right now, some of them want to return back to their hometown, but there is no house, no help. Since 4 years now, how many places there are? How many places? 16 villages. This is a local state. 16 villages. So that place. This attackers These our people, they are suffering. I'm telling you the truth, what I saw today. There are 5% number population that you are seeing here is 5%. 95 is not here. These people are thousands. 5% is here. Most of them are not here. Only few people, 5% is here. Homeless. No help. No help. I'm telling you the truth.
You can imagine, this is happening in Biafra land. Biafra land. Fulanis drove them away from their community.
Thousands of people.
In Biafra land, though. Unbelievable.
Many are not here. Many are outside the states. Since 4 years, homeless, nothing. And everyone has been silent. Their business is everything has been destroyed. How can they feed themselves? Nothing. Please, I'm using this opportunity to call the international, call the United Nations, and the Americans. These are our brothers, our sisters who need help. Not everybody have that. Because someone don't know, when they don't get it. Something on outside. And I believe that the Lord International will come to help people. And I believe that even government will come to help people.
Their village has become forest. Their village have become forest, complete forest.
So, people become for many years. And that's how I take help them.
In the Enugu state, imagine. Fulani drove them away completely. This thing is happening. The Ebubago is in Imo State chasing ESN. Ebubago, Hope Uzodinma, and Soludo are busy chasing ESN. Look at our people. Look at that. This is what Simon Ekpa was preventing. This is what Mazin Nandikan was preventing. Look at it. This is what the Mazin Nandikan and Mazin was fighting against. This kind of driving away our people from their villages. You can imagine. The entire village deserted. The entire village have turned to forest. Their homes have turned to forest. They have no place to go again. And nobody's talking about it. They are busy chasing shadows. We will continue to speak. We will continue to expose their madness to the international communities because these politicians are evil. Nigeria is an evil entity. Only an evil person will continue to associate him or herself with the activity of this terrorist country. A country that does not care about human being. They don't care about any human being. All they care about is their wickedness and their destruction they are putting on people. And when the people react, they turn it around. They twist it around them. But will that make the people stop talking? Of course, the people will continue to talk. We will continue to demand for our rights. We will continue to pursue our self-determination because it is our right. No matter how they try. No matter how they try to blackmail the people, we will not allow their blackmail to succeed. We will not allow their propaganda and their blackmail to succeed. It has been a very long time coming. They have been perpetrating this evil for a very long time. So it's long overdue for the people to be set free. And that is why we are bringing all these reports. The report is not just from the Biafra people, it's not just from social media, even from the conventional media. We are going to be bringing it so that you can hear with your own ear what is going on in the Zoological Republic. Maybe when you hear, you might be moved to do the right thing. It is sad, very, very sad. But that is the Nigeria that people live today. That is the country they want you to be part of by fire, by force. This is where they want us to belong. It's a shame.
or
elections are really free, fair, and credible. It can lead to difficulties. Right. I mean, you talked about the dominance of one party. So yes, you want that the country doesn't gain anything by one party state.
Okay, so I don't know what exactly you said in this interview that made it seem as if there were conversations that were not meant to be had, or that John Onaikon was not meant to have said what he said, like they had discreet conversations, and John Onaikon decided to come and expose the conversations they had. So let's take, for example, Temitope Ajayi, the presidential aide, who obviously on social media affairs came out to call out the president. Now, what does Temitope, what's his name, Daniel Wala, as well, Sunday Diary, all of them have been writing ever since the outing by the Cardinal Onaikon. So they said that the clerics were not only custodians of truth about the state of the country, they were not the only custodians of truth about the state of the country. They faulted the Archbishop Emeritus of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja, Cardinal John Onaikon, for revealing details of the closed-door engagement, describing the disclosure as inappropriate and contrary to confidentiality expected at such a high-level meeting. Now, if you recall, the presidency were the ones that first of all released the conversations they had on that particular meeting, when the president said the economy is stabilized, hunger did not start from his time and all of that. I remember because that was where the conversation stemmed from. At the time, we did not even know it was with the bishops that he met with. So, what other confidential conversation was had beyond what a lot of Nigerians have been complaining about? That, Mr. President, you say that the economy has been stabilized, but the reality on ground is not what it is. And Cardinal John Onaikon said, the people close to the president do not tell him the truth. I have always also reiterated that, but with the statement of the president recently when he said the economy is stable, he was not the one that started hunger. Nigerians have been hungry before he was even born. And I realized that the president knows precisely what is on ground. He knows what is happening. He chooses to put his head where he wants to put his head and remove his head where he wants to remove his head. But he knows exactly what is going on. So that aspect of that immunity or that consideration, I remove my mind from it, that the president knows exactly what is going on. It's just about the willingness to acknowledge these things and exhibit some form of empathy. That is what is lacking. Anyway, the controversy followed Onaikon's appearance on that monitored television program. Onaikon said the document presented to the president was not based on the personal views of the clerics who attended the meeting, but reflected the collective positions of the bishops' conference. Now, in that interview, John Onaikon said that they, as bishops, they have their own political bias and preferences. They all do. But where they come together is the people. They must stand united with the people. It is what affects the people that the church is not concerned about. But the fact is, each of them have their own differentials and their own perception to governance, whether you like it or not. Politics started from the church. If you recall the early foundation of Christianity, taking over of lands, having taken over people's territories, was the Catholic Church. When they were forcing people from converting from what they considered to be paganism, it was a Catholic Church. All the tithes, all the monies, all the levies were given to the king. I mean, you can very well tell with how it is in England. So anything you make, any harvest you make, the Catholic Church decides who leads. The Catholic Church decides everything that took place at the time. So the Catholic Church is a very strong religious institution. But here is where things got dicey. The supporters of the government decided they have been insulting the Catholic Archbishop. A lot of them asking for Cardinal John Onaikon to be stripped down. Now, one thing I know about the Catholic Church ever since is that to be very vocal. You remember Bishop Anigbe in Benue State? In March last year, he actually went to a panel to present to them what exactly is going on in Benue State, existential crisis. Can you remember? That was last year in March. Now, Bishop Wilfred Anagwe of Makurdi Diocese testified before a U.S. Congressional Committee on March 13, 2025. He was reportedly escalating targeted violence and killings of Christians in Benue State by armed militias. It was a Catholic church that started documenting a lot of these things happening there. Now, our own Pentecostal pastors, not that they were not speaking, but the attention was gotten because the Catholic Church kept on hammering. There was a panel that the Bishop Anigbe went to attend where he gave details, pictures, videos, recording. I remember that immediately after Bishop Anigbe did that and the report came out, the president invited all the CAN leadership to Aso Rock. Can you remember? PFN and CAN leadership, they were invited to Aso Rock that last year. And it was questions that what's going on? I thought we're trying our best, we're working hard, we need your support, I need you to continue to encourage your people that we're working hard. After that meeting, everybody went. Nobody said anything after that meeting. Matthew Kuka used to be an explosive bishop that called out the government of the day. I remember during Jonathan's administration. But in this administration, Kuka just came to meet, no talk. Despite the incessant killings, like sporadic killings, specifically of Christians in the North Central, they were quiet. It's only some dogged Christians individually who are pastors who were speaking out. Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo and the likes. There's also another one, I think his church here is in Lagos, that has been speaking out against the incessant killings. Isa Buba as well, that's also another radical pastor. These are the persons who are really calling out. But the Catholic Church has always maintained the truth in their stance towards what was going on in the country. Now, if you also try to do a calculation of the region that practices Catholicism, it's the Southeast, they're dominant in that. Now, the presidential aides and spokespersons and what do you call them, data boys, now started infusing Peter Obi into the whole thing. They said that the cardinals had their own desired candidates and they wanted to tell the president, to be for their own desired person to emerge, that they started bringing out pictures of John Onaiyekan and Peter Obi in 2023. So they were saying that the bishops had their own candidate, and that's Peter Obi because he's a Catholic. All right? But if you want to look at religion, whoever it is that will use religion, what about the Muslim ticket? Who would have ever believed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu would have used Muslim tickets? Because Buhari's administration or Buhari's time, who you call a core Islamic person, did not even do Muslim. He did Muslim Christian. So he did Muslim. If you now want to look at some key appointments of this administration, most of them are from a certain church. The EFCC chairman, the same church. The current Minister of Finance, the same church. Minister of Defense, the same church. What's his name? Former Inspector General of Police, the same church. APC youth leader, the same church. So who has been using religion for an advantage if you consider what has been going on recently? Not to talk about the traditional leaders, especially in the southwest here, and then the clerics too, the Muslim clerics. So they were trying to make it seem as if the Catholics or the bishops who attended that meeting with the president already had a preferred candidate, who is Peter Obi, because Peter Obi is a Catholic. And they started abusing their cassock and abusing Peter Obi. Like I said, you guys get ready. If you do not have the heart for it, everything will be used as an ammo against any of your preferred desired candidates. Now, yes, the president was not happy with what was said. The president insisted that the economy was stabilized and that he's not going to give the opposition a rope to tie for them to tie him down. All is fair in politics. In other words, everything you see happening in the political space is headed, directed, casted, organized by the current party. From that statement that was made by the president. Maybe the president didn't want that aspect of the conversation to be put out there. So Bishop Onaiyekan coming out on national TV to speak just literally summarized what the conversation was. It's now left for you to tell me if what Bishop John Onaiyekan said was wrong or if it embarrassed the president in any way. We're all having a healthy conversation here, so let's decide for ourselves what we're discussing this evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because of that, Atiku Abubakar came out to speak to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Atiku said, why are you criticizing the Archbishop? You already know the economy is terrible, security is down the slope. These are the realities on ground. So why exactly do you not like criticism? You know, that's what Atiku is saying. You don't like anybody criticizing you. You don't like anybody talking about your government. You're also apathetical of the people. And anybody that critiques you, you sabotage, you make all forms of nuances against them. So what do you want people to do, if not to express how they feel? Now, the US too has also come into play because of the recent killing as well. You know what happened very recently, where not just in Kaduna, in Enugu, some persons were abducted in a church, 2 people. Now, the youth in that community say, we're not going to sit down and wait for security operatives. We're going into the bush ourselves to rescue our people. They don't trust the security operatives to do something as soon as possible. So they've gone to the bush. We don't know yet if they've gotten anybody in regards to that. Now, for the US president and their likes, like Senator Riley Moore and the likes, they're saying the president really needs to do more concerning insecurity. The recent killing in Kaduna State makes no sense. I'm sure you already know that at least more than 30 persons, including children, were murdered in Kaduna State just yesterday. So they're calling on the administration of the president to please stop the persistent killings, kidnappings, and attacks on vulnerable communities across Nigeria's Middle Belt. In fact, the U.S. Bureau of African Affairs made their position known in a statement on their X account while they sympathize with the families. But Nigerians were saying, are you just going to sympathize with us? We need more than you sympathizing with us. We need you to come do something for us. We need your help. As it stands, Nigeria is bleeding in regards to security, and that the government of the day is basically, show more interest on that, leaning towards making sure that they present an attitude of political centeredness. That's what they are concerned about. Well, my analyst this evening is Barrister Eze Erujin. He's a political, national, and social affairs commentator. I also have Mr. Lawal Ekpa right here in the studio with me. Good evening, sir. How are you? Yesterday was your birthday. How was it? Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Welcome. God bless you. I hope you enjoyed your day.
Yes, I was at home.
You were at home? It is well. You give me empty-handed.
Yes, sir. This is Nigeria.
This is Nigeria. All right, Mr. Lawal, thank you so much for coming on today's stage. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, also, I would be talking about the salient issues. Number one, INEC uploading their certificates and the aspects that were blank in regards to that, as well as Bishop John Onarinko's expression, the APC's reaction towards it. I wanted to read out the piece of Mr. Sunday Dare, but I just tried to summarize everything and how Peter Obi came into the fray of the bishop. Because you remember in 2023, it was obvious that the Catholic Church did not support this administration. So most of them did not support this administration because of the Muslim ticket. You also remember the alleged fake bishops that were, these are the real bishops. And you could hear the discountenance. There's a fracture between this administration and the real bishops. The other people who they brought from, we don't know where, you could see that those were not the real bishops. Because if the real bishops were called in at the time, this is not the positive inclination or reaction from those alleged fake bishops is not the response we would have gotten, right? So it was expected that before now, the bishops would have tried in their capacity to see, or the presidency would have tried in their capacity to prove to the bishops that the Muslim ticket is a good harmonization ticket and not a religious centeredness ticket. But whether you like it or not, if you look at it, whether, whether Christian, Muslim, if we look at the previous administration, has it in any way enabled us or given us any chance whatsoever to breathe, to survive, to sustain? If we want to do an assessment of Christian, Muslim.
Why do you always insist on the Christian Muslim? What about the traditional? No, what about the traditional religious believers now? They own the land. They've been doing this before Christians and the Christianity and Islam came on board. So are we now saying that they don't exist again? They are very much in existence. So why are we not talking about them? We could have maybe Christian, Sheshe, or traditional worshippers or we can have Muslim and traditional worship. We should be talking about them too, because they are relevant, they are in Nigeria, and they are the indigenous people.
All right, Barrister Ezra Richard, good evening. Thank you for joining us, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very fine. Thank you for the introduction.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, Barrister Ezra Richard. Barrister, very quickly, I don't know if you watched the interview with Cardinal John Onaikom on Friday and the backlash he has been receiving. The supporters of the government complained that he ought not to have come on national television to disclose the conversation they had in confidentiality. So I don't know if you listened to it, but was there anything that was said by Bishop John Onaikom that a lot of Nigerians have not said over time, or a lot of critics have not said over time?
Well, the reality is that those who are trying to blackmail or make deal about Cardinal Onaikom are being honestly with the truth. They are not trying to realize reality. Because the fact is that Cardinal Onaikom spoke the mind of Nigerians and said what most of us already know. That we have this president who is disconnected with reality. We have a president who does not understand what Nigerians feel. We have a president who is totally detached from the sentiments and feelings of Nigerians. So they can go ahead and keep on fooling themselves. But the reality is that Nigerians have always known that the president does not understand the economic hardship Nigerians are going through. Because he feels secured in his cocoon in Asorok. He does not realize that Nigerians are not secure, are not safe. People moving around the city. So, I mean, it's not real. Those who are blaming Catholic are not realistic. Simple. Thank you.
All right. In what way did Peter Obi come into this mix? Because they said that the bishops went with an angle to the president, that possibly because they wanted their own person to emerge, possibly because of the Muslim tickets. They felt that they were also biased and that they ought not to have come out to reveal intricate details of the meeting that was had. You know, I want to understand, most times people go meet the president, don't they see from the presidency sometimes what was being discussed? The president was meeting with the traditional leaders. We hear the traditional leaders address the press outside the Asobila when they're done with the president, or sometimes even the governor. So what did Bishop John Onaikom do that is different from others who visit the president and come out to speak? I recall during the state of emergency in River State, when the president met with Niger Deltas and the Ijos concerning Wike and Fubara. After the meeting, a lot of them came, addressed the media concerning the kind of conversations they had with the president. So in what way did Bishop John Onaikom breach whatever it was that was discussed with the president?
Well, there is nothing wrong that Cardinal Onaikom did. I mean, some people choose to bury themselves in life. Some people choose to be myopic. Some people choose not to understand reality. But what is Cardinal Onaikom did was just what is done in any natural democracy. That is why when you see dignitaries visit president, whether in the White House or in Downing Street or even in the palace in Paris, there is always a session where they meet with the press to talk about what they discuss. It is only in a advanced society that what you discuss with the president is like a secret. But how do we get secret? Because what happens is that after they just meet with the people like Onanuga and his attack dogs come out and read out their own version of what transpired. So it was very important for Nigeria to also hear from from the bishop, from the archbishop or the cardinal, what transpired or what he said. He basically said it, told Mr. President exactly what Nigerians are thinking. And rather than try to understand them and say, we're trying our best and we'll work harder. Mr. President went on the defensive, telling that the economy was in tip-top condition and everywhere was safe and secure. What is God in mind? The economy is in tip-top condition for those who are living in Asorok and the answer of Mr. President. But for over 250 million other Nigerians, they're in dire straits. They're in a likewise for security. If you have the entire breed of guards protecting you and your family, you have to be the general suspect involved to provide them.
Okay, we'll try to contact Barrister SMG once again. The network is dying. Mr. Ezra, which I was asking you a question. I said that Muslim tickets, Muslim Christian tickets between the previous administration and now, have things gotten better with that combination or worse? Because if that is what the supporters of the government are using to criticize the bishops who went to visit the president were exposed and expressing what they consider to be the attitude of the position of the president for during the meeting.
Now, one thing is this: the last Muslim Christian ticket. You know what? After the 80s, saw what happened in Nigeria. That it was not pleasant in Nigeria, and the Muslim tickets that we are experiencing now is not even doing any good at all compared to the one that is the last one. It's even getting worse when it comes. So Nigerians now are asking for, maybe if it is kind of, especially when it comes to the issue of insecurity that is blamed on this Islamic terrorists. The people thought that, okay, if you have a balance something, it might help the situation. Now, the bishops, that is, I'm talking about the Catholic something. Now, from time, it's not that they didn't, they were against the election of President Tinubu. It's just that they felt that Muslim ticket, may not really give Nigerians what they want based on the situation of the last administration, which is the Buhari administration. So they thought that if there is a balance, it might help. Now, they raise an eyebrow, and then what is happening now, prove them right. Are you getting what I'm saying? What is happening now?
Yeah.
Prove them right. So when they raised that eyebrow, they commented on it, and people thought maybe you are being religious, you are being sentimental. They waited, and now they have the right to come out and say their comment that we mentioned this thing last time, and they don't you think it is something that we need to look into now? But what we hear is that people are being manipulated to attack them because they try to change the narration of what the Catholic bishop, went there. Now let me put some things through. I have two things I need to say about this. One, the Catholic bishops represent millions of Nigerians. Do you know that they have members? Millions of their members are in Nigeria. Therefore, they have the responsibility of welfare of their members. Do you agree with me? Now, what I'm saying is that those millions of people under them or in their flocks, it is their responsibility to look after them because they are their flocks. So when they complain, it is their duty to take that complaint to the president. Now, taking it to the president, they have done their duty, and they need to give the report back to their people. It's not a hidden thing because millions of Nigerians, how do you hide things from? Because they sent you out. They need to talk back to them, and that's what they are doing. They have not done anything wrong. They have spoken the truth, and I don't know why they are getting this backlash from the presidential spokesperson.
It's not just the spokesperson, it's even all the most of the supporters. Barrister Ezra, thank you. Welcome back. We have a network situation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, so Trump is not happy. Trump said House of Rep member Riley Moore, Ted Cruz, over the recent killings in Kaduna State. Now, we thought there was an agreement tonight, and the Nigerian government has actually put themselves out there to ensure that these killings go unabated. In fact, very recently, the ECOWAS mission, they were able to package about 96 or 86 Nigerian troops on a rescue mission. It's part of the responsibilities anyways. So, our soldiers here actually quite lean. But you see, this killings, wanting killings continuing, the US expressed its unhappiness and saying that yes, in as much as Tinubu has upgraded in his effort to tackle this, more needs to be done, especially in the North Central. Also, if you recall last year, Bishop Agabe went to a panel, I think in the UK also, where he talked about the existential crisis the people of the North Central were going through, presented pictures, details of the murder, and how so far a lot of them have been displaced, which obviously made the US get interested in the recent killings in Nigeria. And obviously, when you heard Nigeria considered a country of particular concern. At this point in time, do you think Nigeria should continue to hope or wait and believe that the US will do something to upend these killings? Secondly, the US has said that they will monitor the elections, that Trump is particularly interested in this election. Yes, he's interested. But whether he's interested or not, will it make any difference? They have always monitored elections, and it makes no difference. The United States of America always likes leadership that will attune themselves to what is needed. So at this point in time, why do you think Nigerians keep relying on Trump or any other person to help them out?
Well, thank you very much. I don't think that Nigerians rely solely on Trump, but the idea that the United States under the presidency of Donald Trump have assumed a lot of extraterritorial powers that is beyond the state of the territory of the United States. And they have exhibited this on challenge in different countries. They have done it in Venezuela. They were just go and pick up Maduro and put in the jail. They are doing the same thing in Iran, where they are making a lot of attacks against the United States. So the United States have shown that interest of exercising its power and will beyond its territory. So perhaps that's why Nigerians are talking this interest in what's going on in Nigeria, particularly considering that the current Nigerian regime of Bola Tinubu has two particular areas where the U.S. president is known to this very great feelings about. One, the area of drug trafficking and money laundering, and secondly, the area of violent genocide. With regard to the reaction of some people to the killings of presidents, the sad thing is that with the utterances of the current regime, of Bola Tinubu's regime, it appears that the government is inadvertently, or even perhaps directly, encouraging president genocide. For instance, the attack against it's like an attack against the Catholic institution. If you understand what the office of cardinal is, the cardinal would have been involved. I mean, by setting the attack dogs to vehemently attack and try to rubbish the person, not one Catholic cardinal, but also the entire of the Catholic bishops of Nigeria, shows that the government even does not respect very exposed clerics. Now, if you don't respect the leaders of the Catholic institution, of the Catholic Church, people who have become people, what message can be for those extremist terrorists on the field about the Christians? You are telling them they can go ahead and kill people. That is inadvertently what they attack against is portraying the government as a government that lacks respect and does not even down even the highest echelon of Christian flesh. And it's so sad because I am very certain that in a very next couple of days, we shall witness the direct effect of this abusing hit on in the field in different parts of northern Nigeria and parts of the southern Nigeria where more killings of presidents were occurred. And the blame for this goes to this attack of Mr. President and indirectly to Mr. President himself, because they have shown total disdain for Christian leaders. And when you show total disdain for leaders of the religion, that means you have absolute disdain with members of that religion.
So you're saying it's dangerous for the presidency to start attacking the Catholic bishops. You're saying that he's setting a wrong precedent for himself.
It is setting a wrong precedent directly. It's even encouraging those foot soldiers who are on the field, who are on the farms, who are on the villages, who are ready to go and kill and go back with them. Because the whole message is, if their leaders can be disregarded and disrespected, with impunity by those who indirectly popular to them, then if we go and kill the other members, nothing will happen. And that aura of impunity has been what has fueled the Christian genocide in Nigeria for the past 10 years under the state regime. If there was more respect, more seriousness in relating with Christian, most of the guys not have
must everybody attune themselves with what is going on in government? Let me give you an instance, for example, Marissa. Do you think it's because right here in the West, we have more Pentecostal churches, Anglican churches, and Catholic churches? Because some of the supporters of the government believe that the Catholic diocese, that is the Catholic Church and the cardinals, already have a preferential candidate. Funny enough, though, we know that the religion that dominantly practices Catholicism is the southeastern, right? And it's like refusing the presidential candidate of the NDC. Do you think that that line of thought is logical?
I think it's highly illogical and irresponsible. Because the reality is that what they did Catholic Bishop of Southwest was to tell this Tinubu in Nazareth. They told him what every Nigerian knows. The society is not secure, where there is rampant insecurity, that the economy is telling on Nigerians, that many Nigerians are sinking deeper into poverty. There was no politics discussed. It was just reality. It was like they were acting as messengers of congregation to tell the leaders of the rulers of this country. That's what kind of reality. And the simple, pragmatic response from Mr. Poland would have solved this issue. If he said, open like, okay, I have that, I'll be doing my best, I'll put focus on addressing these issues that you mentioned, it would have diplomatically and politically addressed that issue. But to now come out and tell Nigerians that the economy is doing very well and everywhere is secure was like a slap on the face of reality. A slap on the face of this elderly, the clergymen who went to counsel the president. And then those who are now giving it and make of whatever those original sons are not being frank to themselves. Whether you are Pentecostal or you are Catholic or Anglican or even Sunni or Shia Muslim, what's happened? Even if you're an atheist or you practice traditional religion, what has that got to do with the realities of the message that was sent to the president by the Catholic Bishop Conference? And it's not a slap on the face of all Nigerians. The president, rather than appreciate that some people came and told you the reality, your then and that dogs don't come to try to lambast them and castigate them. So I only have pity for any who tries to ascribe ethnic, tribal, or whatever sentiment to pure, real-life messages they need to check themselves up. And they say, Nigeria, those people like that, I don't know where you get the statistics from regarding the preponderance of any religion anywhere. It's all over the country. You have the Catholic Church was it's comprised of Nigerians from all walks of life. Yeah. On my land checking was not some of the family. Yeah. And then very prominent bishops and bishops, Okoji, and they were linked out of the south. So anybody trying to ascribe ethnic or religious ethnic or sectional affiliation to what this and the bishops went to tell Mr. Tinubu have not been truthful to themselves, and they should buy their head today.
Marissa, before I let you go, I don't know if you remember Mr. Lukman, Salihu Lukman. He used to be in the ABC, or he left the ABC. Salihu Lukman is not happy with the opposition. He says that the only way to defeat Bola Ahmed is for the opposition to come together. At this point in time, the opposition is fragmented. And he was specifically referring to Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, the SDP presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore, and the likes. Now, Salihu Lukman was a strong proponent of the Atiku Obi coalition. You know, a lot of persons wanted that combination. And there are some people who still believe that there will be something in regards to that. As it stands with how INEC has uploaded presidential, vice presidential documents, campaigns will begin next month, is it possible for the opposition to become one major force to ensure that APC does not return? And if that is the case, is there any possibility of anybody aside from the APC, winning the elections in 2027?
Thank you very much. If free and fair elections were conducted, even if there are 20 opposition political presidential candidates, Bola Tinubu will come number 21 in the list. I mean, even if it's that bad for this regime, if free and fair polls were conducted, Mr. Tinubu will not speak in that respect about 40% with their candidates. He has shown lack of competency. He has shown that he's unable to govern Nigeria, he has brought in tradition, the policy, and the ministry into governance in one purpose. And so anybody who made an opportunity to come together to have this reconvene, it's only presuming that, or maybe supported, that the presidency, the current ruling party will adopt reading of the polls, will use the policies and the law enforcement agencies, and ultimately use the judiciary. But people that united with all the powers, all that one of the two governments, the APC, the APC claim to have in their meeting, they are desperately trying to outsmart or legitimize the opposition party. That shows that they understand the reality. That despite their control of INEC, of police, of virtually all segments of government, if free and fair polls take place, Mr. Blossom will fall out, he will fail. Okay. So the opposition, if the opposition can consider, okay, if not, they can go ahead and run this election. And that I very much believe that if they run up the vote, it will not be between Mr. Trump and anybody else. Because he will even fail in Nassau Rock. He has failed in Bonilon, he failed in Lagos State, he has failed in virtually all his so-called constituencies. So communication will be anything. But for some of us, we have to believe, and that belief is not just the decision, it's reality, is based on your path.
But his supporters will tell you that he has done quite a lot, at the NELFON, the establishment of the Northeast, South Development Commission, and a lot of other initiatives that his administration has implemented, which they consider to be first of its kind.
One of the main noise there is so-called ruling party, because they passed from the neutral. I came by a road from the east to Lagos a few days ago, and it was the most harrowing thing anybody can wish for their work. Between Asaba and Benin, from Benin to the whole road was a huge mess. This is government that is they propaganda that lies to itself. When they tell you money are not to make sure it is he denies the wife. So when they give up all this time, why are they afraid of the polls? Why are they afraid of conducting free and fair election? It is not the answer so well. Mr. Abbas not his biggest and a business failure. And I think to be conducted, he will not even have my understanding of that. But I really believe that when the elections will be conducted, Mr. Abbas will not be on the ballot. And the reason I'm very evident is already exhibited. What is this issue of this drug involvement with
But there's no competent court that has implicated him. He forfeited, was not implicated.
When Maduro was picked up by the United States, it was not a drug deal he did in the last 10 years. But it was on their record and it's okay. It's a crime that has not been paid for, so he needs to pay for it. Likewise, the issue of the genocide against Christianity is continuing. And it's an issue that are already been discussed in various parliaments across the world. Either that still bad in foreign countries. Yes, some of these crimes are international crimes that any country has the capacity to intervene to prosecute. So hopefully, if this be before, Mr. Bolton will not be on the ballot. And I will now know what will happen to the APC at that time. Because even if it's on the ballot by Raja and free and fair conducted, out of 10 candidates, Mr. Timo will become a ballot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for taking up this, giving us a bit of your time and expressing yourself and giving us your perspective to questions from you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Yes, sir, you too. Right, Mr. Lawal, when it comes to you, do you agree with Barrister Ezeuche? So I didn't really want to say that it is not too late for the opposition to come together, but that's what we need to surround and of APC, that the opposition is in fragments. How, in what way can the opposition come together now? Some persons are still expecting Peter Obi to work with Atiku. In fact, the Atiku boys who have been abusing or, as usual, demarketing Peter Obi, a lot of them relaxed a little bit of that because they still think that something will happen in terms of bringing Peter and Atiku. Is there any way, in any form, that will take place? Now that everything has been established who it is, we still await the appeal court's judgment on the MDC, though.
Now, it's possible, like I said, election has not taken place. So anything is possible. Even if the uploading of a candidate, meaning is closed, that doesn't stop any form of coalition or agreement or whatever. They can do all they have to do is just step, you just close you just divert all your members to vote for the other candidate. That's all. And from what you can see now, from what is going on now, it's like that option is the most viable on the table.
Well, how? How can they do it?
They can do it now.
How?
See, in America, see, I'm coming. You don't tell me, wait, I'm coming. It's just the same thing. This Trump, at the last minute, there were candidates that, relinquished their ambition and told their members to vote for him. So in this one now, towards the end, it can still be done. You just say, okay, I'm a candidate of so, but I'm relinquishing my candidacy. My members vote for this person. We are working together with this person. All we have done is a way of trying to prevent.
What they're saying is that the two strong opposition are in separate political parties.
Doesn't mean they can still come together.
Okay.
They can still come.
How?
They see there are top big wigs in politics in the opposition that can consult with the two of them, consult with the others, and then they present that front, because it's better for the person you support to win than for all of you to lose. You get? If you know that, okay, my popularity, I'm already a candidate, but my popularity cannot take me anywhere. So instead of losing, I might want to give my popularity to somebody I know has it better.
Okay, so let's say now, Peter Obi, you're saying it's possible for him to step down to show support to Atiku, or decide to be a vice to Atiku, or what way? Or are you saying that there's a possibility of Atiku stepping aside to support Peter Obi now that after, he has paid a US lobbying firm where they are also doing the Nigerian government is lobbying opposition to his lobbying. So he has spent all his money doing all of that. He just recently returned from a trip, and we all know what all those trips are for. And you still believe that somehow these people can come together and work together?
So why not? This is politics now. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, lost his whole life and everything, and gained it back because of his people. So if you spend something because you believe it's for a good cause, it's the name. Atiku doesn't need money now. He already has money, and he has got to the prime of his age. What he needs is a name. You get it? He needs that. The only thing he needs now is that to make that name he already has to become bigger. That's all. Because all the money he already has money.
You know that this current party is not ready to relinquish back. I mean, hearing how the president reacted to Bishop John Onaikan and the other bishops when he says the economy is stabilized, all is fair in politics. That was quite indicting. That was indicting on what the opposition has been complaining about all this while. All right, and then he also made mention of the fact that hunger in the land did not start with him. It started from before he was born, and that is the reason why the fellowships, the churches, this is the role the churches needs to play. That the fellowships they can
lying to their people.
No, not lying. They can also assist, and that he also used the opportunity to tell the state governors to perform, not to build flyover bridges, but at least prioritize the interests of the people. If you build projects that are not people-centered, what is the essence of the projects you're building? No, I'm just asking you, sir, that
he's telling them the same thing.
With the conversation that was had with the cardinals, this administration is not ready to let go. So the big question is, what is the buffer? What is the counterpoint in the opposition? What are they bringing? What ammunition are they going to bring? Because if it comes to propaganda, APC is top notch. If it comes to deviating attention, APC is top notch. If it comes to hypnosis, they can hypnotize you if you're not deep enough to understand what is happening. They can literally hypnotize you by reading out some statistics that they seem as if they understand what they're saying. All right. So if you want to for the opposition believe that they can counter anything that the current government is doing, do you see them in this fragmented piece having to have a buffer to shield themselves or withstand what is coming? Because the campaign is starting next month.
there's always plan. A good, a strategist will have plan. You can even, reform your plan. Now, from what the president has said now, is an eye opener. It's for them to raise their eyebrow.
No, that was insensitive.
No, I'm talking to the opposition. I'm talking to the opposition.
Okay.
So that you begin to see your watch. You begin to see where you are going. That's why I said, if you are a candidate, and you discover that, okay, with this level I am as a candidate, I'm already a candidate, uploaded in IPOB, whatever. My popularity, I am a minority in all of them. It's better for you to transfer your camp, you get it, to somebody else that you know can win, than for you, all of you to lose.
Let me ask you a question. If the president had done, let's say, 4 things,
the biggest, to me, the biggest error was that subsidy come. Because that was, see, let me tell you something. Watch very well. When Obasanjo, former president, was president, you see, when he increased fuel, there'll be a complaint, and then you bring it down. You can increase it again after some months or a year, you bring it down. You get it? Now, that means he has a listening here. When it was good Lord Jonathan, when he increased it, there was a lot of protest against it. He reversed it, do you remember? So if somebody said, I am going to remove subsidy, do you ask for the person's plan? People have different plans now. They may have the same goal. Everybody wants to 100, but each person has his own plan. Somebody may read better than the other. Somebody may have a teacher teaching him. So the question is, if this person said, I'm going to remove subsidy, you ask about his plan. Maybe he's going to put everything in place in such a way that this subsidy will become obsolete, to become irrelevant, and then you will remove it and there will be no problem. Do you ask about his plan? Did he say, the moment I get here, I will remove, the moment I'm sworn in, I will remove it immediately? Did they say that? So we should think straight and don't be dissuaded or confused. So that fuel subsidy was a major flaw, because that fuel subsidy affected so many things, plus in fact electricity, small scale business, people which when there's no electricity, they depend on generator or whatever.
Number 1 was electricity, all right. Number 2 was economic restructuring, and number 3, though he did not really emphasize in terms of giving us a detailed plan of how he intends to curb insecurity, but he said he was going to employ more youth into the military. And I asked him, I said, if those basic 3, because I remember during Buhari's time, during the Naira redesign policy, the president said, we need to breathe, let us breathe. And then we thought that when you come on board, you will reverse those choking principles and policies of the previous government, but it has gotten worse. Even now, with the fuel subsidy removal, we can't tell precisely. The administration keeps on telling us that they're using the monies to pay salaries, that no more acts to strike, and that even they're paying the governors more money. But that's
not strike this year.
No, that's what Mr. Taiwo is saying, because we have to ask questions. Where is the subsidy fund? What are you using it for? So the people are not feeling the immediate impact. And the presidency will tell you, ask your governors, because we gave them more money to sort these things out. So everything cannot come from the federal government all the time. But at the end of the day, when you go to the filling station, to the dispensing outlets, you're buying petrol for 1,350. If this not the Iran war, it would have been hovering between 800 to 700 naira. So it was still steep, it was still high. Market prices on domestic food items are fluctuating. As of possibly February this year, they were quite a little bit better. But now,
not better, easy a little.
Okay, it eased up a little bit. But now the marketers are complaining that they've increased again. I sent one of my interns to go to a Vox Hub, and they complain about the implementing that, not stop on transportation, and the fact that there are no jobs. The jobs are given to people who know one another. Most of the jobs are given to people who are exposed to people who may possibly have some connection somewhere.
What about drugs?
Drugs,
pharmaceutical drugs.
Well, I think if you notice, you're now having different brands. Not like the normal. I think
apart from the fact that it's still very high,
Yes, it's high. But I noticed that you can have alternatives to the ones that you're used
All of them are high. Even the one that is the new brands are very high.
Even canned fish. Remember, it used to be a specific brand in the market. So that one now has been diversified. You can buy different canned fish based on how much you have. So you some canned fish.
Monitor which one is good, which one is good for your health, which one is not
depends
good.
on the
Even
taste.
the rice, you have different types of rice.
Yes.
So you have to go and buy the cheap one, and some of them have health problems.
That was the essence of deregulating the market, I think, to have alternatives. If you cannot afford the other one, you afford the one that is within your ambit.
That is curious.
The thing is, there is no more saving culture. People can't save. All right, when you have transport increment, food increment, house rent is over the roof. These are the things that stabilizes the people and makes them look forward to going to work or working. Farmers are not going to their farms because of insecurity. So you're having a reduction in farmers going to farm. And then exporting items too are very difficult too, especially our food produce if we want to generate money. So we're generating money basically from digital assets. And telecommunication industry is where we're really making a lot of money. So the big question is, if the basic capital of all effect, don't you think Nigerians may say, you know what, if you like stay there for 100 years, we don't mind?
Yes, that's it now. That's why it's called politics and why it's called democracy. If you favor the majority of your people, they are the ones to go and vote. No matter what oppositions are saying, people already made up their mind and they go ahead and vote for you. But if you are not popular with the people and people are groaning, no matter what you do, you know, the people.
So from the disposition right now, to the opposition have what it takes to combat the ABC. Whatever anybody is seeing politically is still what you call baby steps. When campaign starts next month, do you know that already door-to-door campaign from River State right to Polo, they're bringing correct iPhones branded. I'm telling you.
How many can you give?
Well,
all those ones are just face value.
Okay.
It doesn't hold water because you can, if you have in the population of a state, you have millions. So you want to share 1 million iPhones. Is it possible? Maybe you share like 100 and then you begin to make noise about it. See, I am telling you, you can't share more than 1,000.
In charge of that volcano pipeline. Do you know how much Tom Polo makes?
See, you can't share more than 1,000 iPhones. You get it? I'm telling you, you can't share more than 1,000. And then you have millions of people there. So all these ones you see, they are just face values. They are just way of calculating the people to make them believe that that is what they do on Arabic. It's just selected things in here and then use media to popularize the rest. That's all we are saying. The only flaws that we have with the opposition, the only, you know, let me say, the edge with the opposition is that they are fragmented. But there's still time for them to come together if they want to. Why not? This politics now. Now, you begin to weigh your options. It's better for me to work with somebody which is the person way. I'll still get 1 or 2, maybe put some of my people as appointments that can go ahead and show our value, that what we stand for, that for me to lose outright. You get it? And then you begin to calculate that. That is what they need to begin to rethink.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get your reaction to see.
Yes, please, before you say that, I want to talk about that INEC, this uploading of the credentials. Now, let me be clear. I'm not happy with what INEC is doing. You know why? Because if a space is left blank, when you give somebody forms to fill, and the space is left blank, are you going to accept? You don't tell the person to go and fill it. You cannot accept a form that is not properly filled. If you do it on the internet, if you say submit, it will refer you back to that. So if somebody submit a form and you have large spaces here, and then you accepted it, and then you are now bringing it to Nigerians to look at it, have you done your own thorough job? I don't know why he accepted that form. Why INEC accepted that form and they bring it to Nigeria? What does that mean? That is I'm supposed to return that form for that those places to be filled up. Plus OB, yes, you need to say not yes. I don't know why. What's wrong with INEC for God's sake?
Kashim had a very healthy
healthy education field is old, and the president didn't complete it, so that then you begin to wonder.
Wow, even when you compass them, like the deputies have a very healthy profile, which is funny actually. It tells you what Nigeria.
I don't know what's wrong with that. What that's why people continue to complain about INEC and the chairman of INEC. See what he keep showing so many flaws. As a professor, can he do that?
All right, let's get your reaction very quickly. 08036929933. 08036929933. The WhatsApp number is 0817 1756338. 0817-1756-338, and that is a WhatsApp number. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mama.
Good evening, how are you?
Welcome.
My name is
I'm calling from Germany.
Welcome.
My own concern, don't take this worry you can do for this. And then campaign, don't take it getting the campaign like you. When you can passion, when you do, when you can follow us, I mean, so I will impact Nigeria. So the Biafra thing continue for the thing, but the country, no more wicked ration. That is why infrastructure killing company. When the NPC don't come this country, now it's my boy ask the market ask them. So the actors don't know the recently facing the Nigeria face when they receive that prison. But vote for this coming APC with the power into society. I've not even understand. Who won't vote APC like that? When the people don't
right.
See how the Nigeria people every day.
Thank you very much. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you. Your president is doing the shot. And I think he was my wife. And let me tell you this. When he said, nobody shot. Nobody shot.
Fortify yourself. Yes. Hello, good evening. How are you, Shola? Welcome. Happy Sunday. Yes, it's the one. Shola, what are you using? You're fading in and out. Are you using an earpiece? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear?
Yeah, it's better now, please. Please maintain whatever it is you just did.
Okay. So let me start with the cardinal, I think what happened is it was a mistake on the part of the president. Those, let me use the word hawks surrounding him. They never expected that truth would be told. You understand? And it's so unfortunate because it has really come out to the open to buttress what we have been thinking more that Mr. Tinubu is totally disconnected from what people are passing through. And the people surrounding him, his aides, his ministers, every one of them, they are just ripping him off. Let me put it that way. As long as they are okay, they don't care. So you know what I keep saying, I won't get out of saying it. Let Nigerians, do away with this resentment between themselves and bitterness. And because the opposition, even the opposition we are talking about, they have their own interests. I can tell you, unfortunately, as fearless and as active as he is, he should have aligned. You understand? And he's not doing that. And even for Atiku, he is not any different from the present president. Just like Mr. Akuda mentioned, Atiku is somebody that is not looking for power so that he can, add feather to his cap. Obi, people are looking at Obi because his antecedents, the only one that doesn't have a hate on him. You understand? So Nigerians, you are the only ones that can save yourself, not any opposition. Obi will not save you. Atiku will not save you. Even Jesus Christ himself personally will not save you. Nigerians will need to get back their own country by themselves.
All right, Shola. Say Jesus will not save you. Wow. 08036929933. That's the number. The WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. Hello, turn down the volume of your radio. Yes, hello, good evening. Turn down the volume of your radio. I am fine, sir. Welcome. Happy Sunday to you, sir. Welcome, sir. The network can embarrass. Please try and call back. Hello? Hello? Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, I'm fine. It's Maxwell calling.
Maxwell, welcome. Where are you calling from? Mushi. Maxwell, it's a cold Sunday today. Please go ahead.
My own part of it. I wish you INEC for this thing is going on now. So for me personally, I'm not sure of INEC. INEC have already bring back for what is going on now. So once we agree, the main issue of my own side is INEC. So Nigeria should be more focused on this. That's my own part of it.
Alright, thank you very much, Maxwell. I think there was something that you also said we follow them to their, like what happened in Kano. I mean, that's what he was proposing. Alright, 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. Benson from Mota.
Mr. Benson, welcome, sir.
I agree with you and I love your program.
Thank you.
We are the opposition. The former we are the opposition. Then who is our head? We are the one. All the parties cannot be in and all the cannot be in smart. So it's better for most of them to come together. Like come together, but
well, now that they've gone their separate way now, what will happen?
And you have the heart, and you have the money, and everyone working. If you join together, very good for this government to come back again. So thank you. That's why I will take.
Thank you so much, Benson. Thank you. Remember that time before we talk about this? I think those are some words to they were Atiku did not outright sue and say that let's be my price. I think they thought that was basically what they were doing.
What cases is okay. But if they and all their heads, what have they are doing their heads no past it? All of them are. Do you know it?
Do you think that if POB was to be that the issue that
no, in fact, I doubt it. They would have maybe finished that part. But because they were now separated, so the resources to fight them is properly distributed.
Alright.
So
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good
evening, sir. How are you, sir?
We thank God. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. What's your name?
Okay. My name is Pastor Ifeanyi from Ijagamo.
Pastor Ifeanyi. Welcome, sir. How was church today?
Well, we glorify God. We are pushing forward.
Yeah. I enjoyed church today. All right, Pastor, let's go ahead.
Two things I want to contribute here.
Yes, sir.
Concerning the Archbishop that I visited the Asolo, I feel it is someone that transparent that wants his people to know, to show a good ruler. They are not supposed to criticize when things are, you are seeing that this is a critical issue. Nigeria is hammering. You're supposed to listen to your people, and they do the needful. Instead of covering sin, Bible says that whosoever that covering sin will not prosper, but whosoever that confess them and forsake them, you will have mercy. I don't know why you are sitting on top of the Nigerians and covering sins that you are not supposed to be covering. So I don't understand. You are supposed to accept, that is in transportations. Some people like all these companies, they will put something there in case if they have any complaint. Criticism, at least to make them to correct them. When things are getting wrong. When a police station attendant is attending to you wrongly, you have every right to make call. They put phone calls there, you can call. It's not fighting. So I don't know why they are not accepting, corrections when it's needed. It's really appalling. It's not good. Now, concerning the ticket of a Muslim ticket, I don't know why this is getting out of hand like this. It's not healthy for our democracy. They're supposed to, in short, I'm just applauding all the parties. Let them come together. If they can support Obi, I think it is no more in his side. If they can support Obi, I'm telling you, if they can run the Obi and then support him, let's move forward. Then concerning the filling of their forms, Obi got it wrong, and the other Tinubu got it wrong. On the other presentation as well, they got it wrong. They did not fill their form finished.
But for the vice presidential candidates did. I was impressed with Kashmir.
Yeah.
And
the man own was fully completed. I don't know why Obi messed something up like that. No, you're supposed to show that character he preaches. It's unfair. He didn't do it well. I don't like it. You could have finished everything to show that yes, I'm capable. Why must you do those lapses? It's not good. It's not good. People will look at it. Are you watching something? Then you are following the footsteps of the ruling. The scripture is very bad. If it is in company, we will accept an employee leaving spaces. They will ask questions.
That's true.
They will ask questions. Even though in your station there now, if people are coming for jobs, they will fill everything. And if they didn't fill it, they will turn their back. They will complete their documents. They will complete. Then why are you leaving those places? Maybe there's something wrong somewhere. And the INEC are coming out to tell us, are we going to fill it for them? Are we going to tell them to fill it? Are you not in the capacity?
They are being transparent.
No, it's being transparent. You're supposed to investigate before coming to the public and then announcing it. You don't investigate and then coming to the public and then pushing the blame to the public. It's not fair. I don't know what is wrong here. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't know what is wrong with these people. Please, let them do the needful.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for calling. Let me take some of your messages. My colleague who stopped my show will be coming up very soon. Good evening, Esther. My name is Pastor Maxwell. Something tells me that all these politicians are up to something. I can't believe that the experienced politicians that didn't see this coming or do not have money or influence to the judgment. How can only Tinubu and Wike hold the whole nation to ransom? I wanted to say shame to them, but I just realized that they have no shame. I pity Obi, but I still believe that something will happen soon. I don't know what it is, but the journey to 2027 will be very interesting. And this person says, I doubt if that's barrister is in this country for you to say Tinubu is nowhere among the top contestants. Tinubu is not my preferred candidate, but in free and fair election, he might likely win. Adiwale. Good evening, Esther. Tell Shala to respect the name of Jesus. How do you think that Jesus can't save you? If it were the other religion, they would have stoned him for blasphemy. David from Ikbaja. I think Shala was just trying to emphasize or really buttress it. And he's trying to say, but I understood the angle Shala was coming from that. Let's not relying on spirituality sometimes. Say Jesus cannot save you.
spiritual, something separate from human.
Good evening to you, Esther, Mr. Ekudai. I'm ashamed of Mr. President words. They're not enough to tell you how disappointed Nigerians are now. Imagine submitting only college detail. Does that mean you not attend primary and secondary school? Good evening, Esther. I want to answer INEC chairman if it were Obi that submitted a black paper. Will he accept it? Adapt from a gun to do. Good evening, Esther. We Nigerians reject that incompleted form that those contestants this election should go beyond INEC and candidates. We demand for complete accuracy in all things since we pay them to serve. Uche from Okota. Esther Machuku and your guests agree to you fundamentally. There are some items in the form that are ticked compulsorily and you cannot skip it because it won't submit. The ones that are not marked compulsory can go through. Maybe the parts in the form for primary and secondary schools were not marked compulsory. Whenever I tell he's being sarcastic. Whenever I tell a friend of mine that President Tinubu would win the elections, he said that we are the ones who are necessarily giving Tinubu the power and influence where he has none. The fact still remains that President Tinubu would win the election, not because he would be massively voted for, but because he has all the factors that are favorable to him. The nation's treasury are at his disposal to use as he wants. The security agents, the electoral umpire, the courts. Esther, do you know that at this point I don't even know where I stand, even as an NDC member? Former President Obasanjo seems not to have any political influence any longer. Former President Jonathan seems to be very active in international engagements compared to Obasanjo. James Obodna, currently in RCCG Redemption City, Mowe, Ogun State. James, you're in the citadel of Christ. Just put us in prayer. Put Nigeria in prayer. They're in the holy city. Higher there's a certificate of form issue is a constitutional loophole. The law says minimum of WAEC or equivalent. Her OBJ passed it then because of ex-VP Atiku. Regionalism went down and did that online from Fateh. Good evening, Esther and my brother over there. Please, I want to ask what's the opposition parties doing concerning the president's school issues? Why are they quiet? They should sue INEC for accepting this. Mr. Chukwude from Ajegunle. Opposition too fell victim name. They did not feel a victim name.
But not your credential.
Peter submitted all his credentials. It was work experience.
Now you're talking about the president. One thing is this: if you have been informed, you may not have degree, but you must have primary.
Okay, primary
and secondary. Those ones are
unavailable. It's unavailable. So you now filled in work experience and the college at NYSC. Alright, good evening, Miss Esther. Hey, this one copy Mrs. I came into this name. I'm not yet Mrs. I thank Barrister Esther for his brilliant analysis. Please, how did these migrants really this country come to power? Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, which migrants? They are Nigerians, so they're not migrants. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmadu Bello, Awolowo, are they going to be the last word, please? Okay. This person says, good evening, Esther. Good evening to you. Please tell APC that Catholic bishops are not Adeboye and other Pentecostal pastors that can take rightly. People. Happy Sunday, Esther. The explosive interview of Cardinal John Onaiko is nothing but a wrong truth and exactly as it is in Nigeria today. Cardinal Onaiko is not one of the fake bishops of this present government and without fear or favor stood his ground and told the president that he did not want to hear. If other top religious heads can come out like this and tell the president the truth, there must surely be a better turnaround. I therefore use this opportunity to call out all the bishops, pastors, and GAs to wake up from. I think CAN is not united. EFN is not united because they were all quiet. Only a few of them spoke up.
The thing with CAN is that when you get to that top, you become closer to the politician. So if you are not careful, you become politicized. That's the problem with CAN.
Like Candy today, that one is always, I don't understand
why the members are the lower sections of CAN and it is speaking to be fragmented. But when you get to that CAN,
with the meeting, the spokesperson of APC should know very well that the Catholic Church should not be taken for granted in Nigerian government right from the military era to date. If they speak the gates of hell, will not prevail as Jesus Christ commanded. Why are people dying on a daily basis and who is killing them? The current government should answer the questions squarely by solving the problem by stopping the killings. All right. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Good evening, sir. Welcome. Your voice is very low, sir. It's better now, yes. What's your name?
My name is Sonny.
Sonny from where? Sir?
Yes, Lagos.
Okay. Welcome, sir.
I want to say something about how when people are meant to join the celebration, how it happens. What is good? Everybody knows that it's more than 10 people. Like,
who told you?
Yeah, I believe in my own opinion. That's what I think. I don't think someone told me.
Go ahead.
That's my own opinion. So I can tell you from your plan. Now, let's go for things, let's start it and all that. You know, so we can prove it wrong. And then I can prove it right. So what I'm saying, at this point in time, looking at it, when you look at everything, you say that it's not totally because of what's happening. Although it's not the what but yes, look at what's happening. It looks like a continuation of, worry so much. Like what we had during one time. That we don't go worry to power. In order for that, process that you know, that's exactly what we have to do. I can really the truth. Those of us who are with our nation of the years of worry backward. And now we're just going to have 8 years of backward. I wonder how they do. They don't who have the full job. Will they encourage that clapping for this festival? At what point do you start thinking your own mind? At what point do you going to be in a better house? Have drive car like other people someone in the past. To have it, when you use the property, without being a criminal, without involving yourself in that. Then there has been difficult. And this worry and the latest worry and the worry government have been very difficult for a contract. For a certain person to survive and death. And when people confront the fact, now people it's like that. And when the man that you're not even the that you are buying like that, you are paying, that's property paying. You don't know on your own condition, which you are living. You look at your own face and
telling that what you're saying is not true.
Imagine that. It's not just like and today, those of them who were trying thousands for Jonathan, when life was better, when $200 and less than $1 and you can live better. Today they are all silent. We want them when people will go and want them to speak against the next government and we remind them of this nonsense they are doing.
Thank you, sir, for calling. All right, good night. So, what's your final take?
Yes, my final take is that I think you brought it out so that Nigerians can comment, so that it can give them power to be able to return those. They should return those funds back to those ones that didn't complete their spaces. They should complete everything, then return it. Then Nigerians can now scrutinize them because they put it in the public space so that Nigerians can. Are we looking at blank spaces?
Right.
So they should return it back and let those things be filled. Then Nigerians can now scrutinize everything
themselves.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap of the conversation this evening. Thank you so much for joining us on the Political Spotlight. My name is Esther. Esther Machico on Facebook, Esther Mas on Instagram, that's ESTA and Esther Media on YouTube, ESTRQMEDIA. All right, I'll see you tomorrow by the special grace of God. To have some is coming up next, as usual. It's very internet. So have yourself a wonderful evening. Bye for now.
Across Nigeria this week, political leaders paused to remember a soldier whose brief 6-month administration remains one of the most debated periods in Nigeria's history. At a memorial ceremony in Umuahia marking the 60th anniversary of the assassination of Nigeria's first military head of state, Major General Johnson Agui-Ironsi, President Bola Tinubu, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Governor Alex Oti, and other eminent Nigerians paid tribute to General Agui-Ironsi's patriotism, discipline, and commitment to preserving Nigeria's unity during one of the country's most turbulent moments. So, 60 years after the events of 1966, how should Nigeria remember Agui-Ironsi? Has history treated him fairly? And have we fully appreciated the extraordinary sacrifice of the then military governor of the Western region, Colonel Adekunle Fajuyi, who chose death rather than abandon his commander-in-chief? And perhaps most importantly, have the lessons of those tragic events shaped what Nigeria has become, or is the country still trapped by the divisions that ultimately consumed both men? Well, in a moment, I'll be joined on the line from Umuahia by engineer Imo Agui-Ironsi, nephew of Nigeria's first military head of state and current head of the entire Agui-Ironsi family. But with me in the studio for now is the political analyst, executive director of Development Specs Academy, member of the editorial board of this state newspaper, and professor of strategic management and human capital development, Professor Okey Keju. Prof, thank you very much indeed for coming in. And you are from Umuahia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm from Umuahia, but my parents are from Anambra State.
Okay, so you were born, you grew up...
Precisely, I was born there, to the Elizabeth Hospital, to this
Right.
Old school.
I actually know Queen Elizabeth.
You should,
because I went for a few years to government college.
Oh my, exactly, and I recall that in case you didn't know.
Well, I don't remember you.
I do remember you.
But, I mean, it's great to have you here because I consider you to be a great residue of Nigerian history. 60 years after that fateful counter-coup, has Nigeria honestly confronted the events of 1966, or has it merely learned to live with competing myths about that seminal event?
I think over the years, Nigeria has missed opportunities to confront that matter. Yes, there was 1966, but if you recall, by 1979, the politicians who came together to build the Second Republic were actually on the verge of making their candidates, which means at the level where it mattered, the Nigerian elders knew there was no division. They knew that there was a misunderstanding in 1966. They knew the Igbos didn't send the Zobo on any errand, but the aftermath of his rascality impacted negatively. So that is really a series of missed opportunities and myths began to arise, worsened by, low-grade politics. But again, I look at what's happening in Umuahia today and I ask myself, look at the attendance. Serving and retired officers of the Nigerian Army. The event today means they don't recognize 1966 as having breached or breached. Let's bring the call. It was a distortion of history, an unfortunate act, and if you look at it historically, you will see that it's easy to understand. Zobu was a major. He killed some of the most respected Nigerians. His colleagues didn't kill those they were asked to kill. And because of the ethnic connection, they say, oh, it's their brother, they spare. But what's the profile of the man behind it? As a soldier, you know that a senior officer does not take instruction from a junior officer. So for a major to enter a radio station, announce he had taken over, and then in the process of that announcement, is instructing the GOCs to take over and be in charge of the areas where they are forced. You're addressing brigadiers generally, not even a lieutenant colonel, not a colonel. So that's clearly a soldier out of his depth completely. And that's why Ojuku, who was a colonel at the time, he said nothing has happened. That some rascal entered the police station. That this is a profession You don't take such a strong. It was Ojukwu who foiled it. If you recall in the north, who named another Igbo man, was shot when he was trying to prevent them from taking harm because he was in charge. Now look at the truth and then look at the narrative that has come. And with it has also come the degeneration over the years. The late Wali of Sokoto, Ambassador Hamza, in 93, 94, he was also the editorial board of this day as a consultant. He told a very telling personal story. He was secretary to Sir Ahmad Bello. At a point in his life, he also served as secretary to Zik. And he was telling us there was no day Zik, Awo, and Ahmad Bello did not talk throughout before all that crisis. So that national cohesion of I'm protecting my interests, but we have a common platform was always there. Now it's not there. And worse still, the concept of government and leadership has also collapsed. The single space governed by Ahmad Bello is now split into 19 units. Look at Southwest and all of that. 19 administrative units, delivering poverty. The same for all the regions. And the quality of persons occupying those positions has also progressively deteriorated to the point that the only issue you're talking about is how much you do.
I'm going to come back to that point because that's a very important point that you're raising there. But just returning to that period to understand, I mean, from what you're saying, it sounds like to understand July 1966, which is when Aguiyi Ironsi was assassinated, we must first understand January 1966. Because one essentially can't be explained without the other.
So, yeah, 1960 January was the precipitating action of some junior officers, if you like, under nobody's instruction, clearly with no understanding of leadership. So they killed some people. Now, with that, the government was handed over to the military, formally by the person in charge, and the idea was to stabilize the place. But see, you can't remove the fact that some people were hurt. Those killed, their relations, the manner in which they were killed, began to also create issues. And Ironsi who took over. Remember, in a military establishment, you have a single command structure. At the time he took over, the regions had their constitutions. Each region had its constitution, had its own coat of arms, and was carrying on the way it suited. So when governors were sent to the regions, the federal could not actually control them. I recall on several historical records from several locations where Obemudia, who was in charge of Midwest, said no, it's against the constitution of the Midwest. So to improve administration and control, being a military configuration, we made the very decree. Now, most people have been killed. Nobody has been, so to say, shot because of it. The regions affected were very old, still old. They killed our leaders. Now, the man who took over is ethnically, at least nominally connected with the killer, and the spreading is their brothers. They've taken over. And so the anger wasn't, with the making of that decree, they said, here we go, go control.
So looking back with the benefit of history, what was Aguiyi Ironsi's greatest political mistake? Was it that unification decree number 34? Was it his handling of the January coup plotters, or was it something else?
A combination of four factors, beginning with the handling of the coup. Imagine that after the coup, there was very quick trial and whatever it is, they would have said, okay, this is it. But the other truth the public doesn't know is that there was also a panel, if you like, or contractor, whatever, that kept delaying sending the report into action. So the anger from them is one. Then moving on, the unification decree, and also some of his former colleagues described as his dispositional recklessness. Was a very broad-minded and easygoing human, and so didn't readily attribute. He said this, because were there's esprit de corps, they know what is wrong. No, their emotions are moved out of the stream of esprit de corps, and so he did not recognize that anger. If you look at the persons around him, none, they were not from his own ethnic group. Murtala was his right-hand man. It was those boys together that killed him. So while he felt free with them and was laughing, what they were seeing was an Igbo man who was triumphant, being triumphant after their own people had been killed. So that mix-up, the combination of all of them together led to the hatred, because also, if you think of the manner in which he was killed, directed at his person, misdirected, because there was no volitional intent to this.
That's a very good analysis. But let me ask you this, Prof. Could Agui Ironsi realistically have survived politically after January 1966, or was that counter-coup almost inevitable given the atmosphere at the time?
The counter-coup was not inevitable for a simple reason. Recall that not only did Ojukwu stop the coup, he worked with Bayero. And Bayero opened the palace to those who were sleeping. In fact, part of the story is the Indian story. When a northerner calls an Igbo man, that it was a result of a lot of them who were give me what, which nobody knew. Oh, these Nyamiri people.
So they couldn't pronounce it.
They couldn't. So it was not inevitable. The war began. How come during the war, Zik mistakenly landed in Nigeria and nobody killed him? You recall? His plane came into Nigeria. Nobody.
They landed in Lagos.
Lagos, yes, that was Nigeria. Came out of Iran's gate. Then the war ended, the army continued. Politics returned.
Well, he actually returned to Lagos before the war ended.
Yes, for that reason. But while the war was on, now politics came back after the war. After how many years of military? 9 years. Now political coalitions began. All the old coalitions before this first and second coup came back as friends, which means they did not recognize the imaginary division. They understood what was that this thing was a mix-up and still related the way they did. When some people convinced Zik to back off from the
Does your phone not have a silent?
Not only does it have silent mode, I also put airplane mode. So maybe your village people are working on my phone.
So the scramblings have entered your phone.
No, unfortunately. So,
nevertheless, on that note, let me ask you to stay with us because it's really good to have you here. And let me cross over now and join on the line from Omar here, engineer Imo Agui Ironsi, nephew of Nigeria's first military head of state and current head of the entire Agui Ironsi family. Engineer Imo Agui Ironsi, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I hope you can hear me because you're sort of looking away, looking down, and I'm not quite sure that you can. Nevertheless, I will assume that you can. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, you were born into one of the most significant families in Nigerian history, with Nigeria's first military head of state, Major General Agui Ironsi, as your uncle. What was it like growing up with the name Agui Ironsi? Was it a source of pride, a burden, or both?
Well, it's a good thing to be associated, but let me welcome you first. Let me welcome you for this question. Your question is also very welcome. It's a great thing to be associated with a family that is known all over the world, not only in Nigeria. Because the name that made names in Nigeria, the name Agui Ironsi. That's what I can say to you about that.
Within your family, engineer, how is Major General Agui Ironsi remembered? I mean, I'm not talking so much as a head of state, but as a father, a husband, an uncle, and a human being. I mean, what stories are passed down that Nigerians rarely hear that you can share with us?
Well, he was my uncle. We lost him at a very tender age of about 49. In fact, he would have been 150 years now if we were alive. We lost somebody. We lost somebody like a role model, like a guide, somebody to go look up in the village. It wasn't fancy for people at the time to go to the military, but he had courage and disappeared from ignorance and rose to he was somebody many people looked up to in the village, not because he was the head of state, but because he had the advancement he made in his life. When I say role model, and you understand what that means. You don't need to be a military man to be a role model, and be an academician, you can be a village head. You can belong to any other profession. So he was a role model, not because he was the military.
And 60 years.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, it does. And thank you for sharing that very important aspect of his life with us. And 60 years later, are there still questions about his assassination that your family feels have never been adequately answered?
Yes, many. We lost somebody. Like I said, it was a role model, the best Satan. We lost somebody to that. There's so many other people. We lost somebody who was a father, an uncle, at the prime of his age. And I'm sure you would know the impact all would have gained by having him around. We also lost. They're pointing us to They're pointing us to good education. They're pointing us to good businesses. It is pointing us to exposure in the world. We lost all that. It is also telling us how to live in the community as people coming after him. We lost all that.
I'm aware of what clearly you would have lost. I mean, for anybody, that's a huge loss. But the question I was asking is whether there are still questions about his assassination specifically that your family feels have never been adequately answered.
Definitely. There are so many of them.
Well, could you tell us a couple of them?
Materially, I would say, the family, I don't think, has been compensated. And of course, they have no sincere apology for his assassination. It looks like people are still carrying on with the way things were by the time he was assassinated. We have not received any sincere apology from anybody, I would say, to the best of my knowledge, about his assassination. He was a man of vision. He was a detribalized Nigeria. He was a good leader. He occupied the seat of head of state for only six months, and he was taken away from us. Not because of the sin he committed, because he wasn't part of the January 1962. Everybody knows that. Only because of his position as the most senior military officer, he was told to take charge of it. And then that cost him his life. I think the family needs apology. The family needs to be compensated. We need sincere apology.
Right, okay.
We need sincere reconciliation.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I hope there are people who are in positions to make this happen that are listening to you tonight. But many Nigerians, especially in the north, associate your uncle almost exclusively with decree number 34. That's the unification decree, which remains deeply controversial and was roundly opposed in the northern region. I mean, does your family feel that one decision has perhaps unfairly come to define an entire life of his military service?
Please come again. Let me get you.
Right, I said that many Nigerians, especially in the north, associate your uncle almost exclusively with decree number 34. That's the unification decree, which remains deeply controversial and was roundly opposed in the northern region at the time. I mean, does your family feel that that one decision has unfairly come to define his entire military service?
I would not say that my family is in the best position to answer that question, but I'm not in the best position. I would think that the Igbo nation, being an Igbo nation, is in a better position, not just my family.
Right. Okay, I can understand that. Let me ask you this, though. The then governor of the Western region, Lieutenant Colonel Adekunle Fajuyi, chose not to abandon your uncle, even when he had every opportunity to save himself. What does Fajuyi's sacrifice mean to your family today?
Man, it means a lot. It means a lot to stay with your friend, to stay with your boss unto his death. And of course, to share the same faith with him. We respect Badi so much for that. It means so much for us. It means so much to us that somebody sacrificed his life also, along with JT and for the nation. Not just for JT and but for the nation, Nigeria.
Has you're the head of the Agni-Ironsi family. Has the Agni-Ironsi family maintained a relationship over the decades with the Fajuyi family? I mean, you see both men as forever linked by that extraordinary act of courage. And I'm wondering whether you keep in touch with the family.
That's not a very easy question to answer. We will not go publicizing our relationship with the family, but there is a relationship.
Right. President Tinubu, the former President Obasanjo, Governor Alex Oti, and others. I mean, the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, the wife of the former President, Patience Jonathan, they were all there. I think at the memorial in Omar here, and many others. They've all described your uncle as someone committed to Nigerian unity. Looking at Nigeria today, do you think the country has honored the ideals for which Major General Agui-Ironsi ultimately gave his life?
Looking at the gathering yesterday, and the conversation from near and far and near, people from the north, west, people from the south, some people from all over the country. I would say that Nigeria is beginning to understand the reasons why JT Agui-Ironsi tried to unify the country, what he did, bringing us together as a country, bringing us together as a people. So the meeting of yesterday pointed to that, signified that it's like a realization of the purpose, this purpose about 60 years ago to bring the country together. I was personally delighted when I saw the large crowd of Baranen from the Hausa community, Hausa nation, from Yoruba nation, from Igbo nation, and other nations of the country. I was very delighted, very glad. And I think that we are beginning to achieve that unification.
We're almost at the end of this chat, and thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. But 50 years from now, let's say 50 years, if Nigerians remember only one thing about your uncle, Major General Agui Ironsi, what would you want that to be?
Somebody started the process of unification 60 years ago, and it's like we are all coming to the reason for us to be united as a nation. And it will be a memorial. The government of Nigeria should do something to remember that there was an initiator, an originator of whatever position we're going to find ourselves in the future. As a country, as a people united, the government should be able to have it on record, make it known that Agui Ironsi started the process of unification.
And if your uncle could somehow look at Nigeria today and its politics, its divisions, and its hopes, what do you think would disappoint him most, and what would still give him hope? Briefly.
I don't know whether anybody had me yesterday. Some people did anyway. I don't know whether you had me yesterday. What I said yesterday was that if it is possible for my uncle to rise from where he is, if it is possible for him to see the gathering, if it is possible for him to see Nigerians united at the commemoration of his death, he would feel very, very happy that his purpose, his aim, his desire at that time is being realized. But it's not within our power to call him off. I said it yesterday. It's not within our power to call him off. I remember that many people resurrected from the dead. And what I imagined yesterday was he also resurrected and looking at, even though he's lying together, looking at the gathering of Nigerians to remember him.
On that note,
gathering of Nigerians, right? Unity.
Right. Okay. On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed, Engineer Imo Agui Ironsi, nephew of Nigeria's first military head of state and current head of the entire Agui Ironsi family. We're deeply, deeply grateful to you for taking the time to talk to us. And he was, of course, talking to me on the line there from Omani. You're watching The Rise of Prime Time, 20 months to the head. I'll be rejoined in the studio by the political analyst, the executive director of Development Specs Academy, member of the editorial board of This Day newspaper, and professor of strategic management and human capital development, Professor Oke Ikeji. Stay. Now, 60 years ago this week, Nigeria lost more than a head of state. It lost a defining opportunity to prove that loyalty, honor, and nationhood could triumph over suspicion, ethnicity, and vengeance. Major General Johnson Agui Ironsi, Nigeria's first military head of state, was brutally assassinated in the counter coup of July 1966. That's actually a Obasanjo in that photo. That's not Agui Ironsi. But standing beside him until the very end was Lieutenant Colonel Adekunle Fajiri, a man who refused to abandon his commander-in-chief, even when doing so would almost certainly cost him his own life. Together, they paid the ultimate price. 6 decades later, as Nigeria continues to wrestle with questions of unity, justice, and national identity, their deaths remain more than a chapter in history. They remain a challenge to every generation. So have we learned anything from the sacrifices they made? With more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the political analyst, executive director of Development Specs Academy, member of the editorial board of this day newspaper, and professor of strategic management and human capital development, Professor Okeke. Well, thank you very much indeed for staying with us. You listened to engineer Imo Agui Ironsi, the head of the Agui Ironsi family today. What did you make of what he had to say?
The first thing, before what you had to say, you said head of the Agui Ironsi family. There's a cultural factor that has to be emphasized. The head of the family is not necessarily the son or whatever. The eldest member of the extended family is the head of the family. And the fact that he spoke indicates a family that also has its head properly screwed on culturally. The second point is that listening to him, you see the benefit of sound education.
Indeed.
And clear-headedness. His answers were concise, he was articulate, issues. So this is what people should look at and ask themselves. Do we still have elders like this? Those who are leading us today, can they respond to questions the way he did without saying more than 50 times before another word? Then, pertaining to the substance, he addressed the issues concisely. The element, oh, by the way, this is a digression. You notice that each time Agui Ironsi is brought out, he's holding a crocodile.
Yes, that is true.
I think people need to know that that's his name actually. Agui is the Igbo name for crocodile.
Right.
Yeah, so people should know.
So that's the symbol.
That's the symbol.
Right.
He was carrying the symbol of his name, Agui, the leopard of the waters.
Right.
Whereas Ago is the leopard of the forest. That's a cultural diversion.
Right.
So, looking at the issues, you also see a family that has come to accept realities he couldn't do anything about. And with some measure of dignity. There are people who, if you had called them, they will ask, even when he was asking for apology, he was saying there has to be reason for it. So there's no indication of rage. We don't have a little concern when he asks for apology from the Nigerian state. It is important that that apology should be made, but not just to the Ironsi family. Those who assassinated Sam Adibele were not sent by anybody. Those who assassinated Stafan were not sent by anybody. Those who assassinated Agui Ironsi were reacting to what they perceived. So the Nigerian state, embodied in the president, should address the nation on the 1966 issue. Point out that Igbos did not sit down to plan a coup. Point out that Obasanjo, who was roommate to the leader of that coup, was not even told. Point out that he gathered his personal friends and they talked about a change, but they had no understanding. Assuming they actually succeeded in killing everybody, including Ironsi, would they have run Nigeria from the radio station? They had no executive capacity. It was fully exuberant. Idealism, fine, but they couldn't have got. Somebody needs to put this in context. That for all the affected families, the nation tenders an apology. If you look at the circumstances of the killing of Malari, some of these respected elder citizens were shot by those who were serving them. It's inhuman. And you didn't have to shoot their wives. Imagine a leader brings up these things which will shock us and then point out in the culture of those who did this, this is not how their people behave. It is these boys themselves.
Yeah.
To the military to which they belong. So that national apology should be addressed to all because all have been wronged.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, one of the things that Imo Agui Ironsi celebrated, if you like, in the course of that brief interview we had with him was Colonel Adekunle Fajuyi's loyalty to his commander-in-chief. Beyond what he had to say, why has that act of courage resonated across ethnic and political divides when so many other events of 1966 remain contested?
Culturally, is a virtue you find across all cultures. People say one thing happened. There's you have brother. That's the place in other lands. That's what virtue demonstrated. And if you go to Mahad, there's an Etunle virtue street in that. There's a very strong relationship between the two families. Quiet relationship, like I said. I know my man from another state, and it was always there. Now, Fajuyi's action transcends all the paradigms of self-affirmation, self-preservation, number one. Oh, culture, the man is an Igbo man, number two. I'm not involved in Igbo. All of that, the man cancelled it, respecting the humanity and explain the code. It is to the credit of the Nigerian ministry today that what happened in Omaha yesterday is what he was saying for. Obasanjo, the former pastor, so they came as professional colleagues because they know the man, they had nobody had any business in agreements. It's a reaffirmation that the serving officers and soldiers should take and begin to work along with.
And do you think Nigeria has done enough to preserve the memory of Agui Irunsi and Fajuyi?
No, I don't even think Nigeria has done anything at all. I think this might be the beginning. Because when the elder statesmen, both principal actors at that time who are alive, and those serving in that profession today come together, this might be the beginning of doing something substantial.
And do you think if Agui Irunsi had not been assassinated, do you think Nigeria's political evolution might have been fundamentally different?
Radically different. Because the second coup was not an overthrow of government, it was murder.
It was a revenge.
Revenge, just killed them, they killed us, and then damaged the military. It also led to a situation where officers began to command their superiors. But that's why Ojukwu rejected it. He said, I cannot take instructions from any junior officer. It's either Ogundipe becomes the head of stations, so Yonsi is dead, or I become head of stations at the proceeding. But you see, it has damaged the army. When Moritala was killed, somebody was moved from, I think, colonel to major general. And it's a disaster. So no, my revolution would have been different. We would have had a stronger military, and among other things. But again, that's the business of vision.
Right.
The mistakes have been made. Let's remedy them.
And how directly did that July 1966 counter-coup set Nigeria on the path to civil war? Or was war already inevitable by then?
No, war was not inevitable. There was the killings, and the Igbos ran from the north.
The pogrom
ran from the north, and then the leaders met, and Ojukwu was sure it had all been resolved. So he addressed the central state, told his people to go back to the north. We are now one Nigeria, but before greater beginnings to begin. So the war was not inevitable, but again, the embers were already being fanned. There was also the perception, let's wipe them out. So that discussion of historical facts and the temper of individuals who had access to instruments of coercion precipitated a civil war that was totally avoidable. Also, the confusion arising from the Agri Accord, those who went there lacked the sophistication to understand their advantages, and Ojukwu was better than them, outsmarted them, and then in addition also made the decisions public. I hear a distorted version of the fact of agreeing to a confederation and then rejecting it became a precipitating factor for, okay, we've had enough. And so Ojukwu said, let's move apart in order to survive. The other group said, keeping Nigeria together is a task that must be accomplished. And so the war raged.
Fascinating. You are, of course, a professor, which makes you a teacher in your own right. If you had some time, perhaps an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, to teach every Nigerian under the age of 30 about 1966, what lesson would you insist they understand before they form an opinion about Nigeria's history from that time and subsequent?
Lesson number one, the day you're born, you're not a Christian, you're not a Muslim, you're not Hausa, you're not Igbo. As you begin to grow, you begin to do the things your parents taught you, they take you to the church or not. So you begin to acquire an identity. Therefore, somebody cannot be you just because of this historical fact. Second, only knowledge justifies any action you want to take. Now, those who carried out the coup believed they were going to create a better Nigeria. They were enthusiastic, but they didn't have knowledge of how it will affect other things. So, my dear young people, ask yourself before you act, do I have enough knowledge about this? Not for today, but going forward, and is it sustainable? Step number 3, don't take a position for which you're not prepared. You may like the title. You may even be better than the man holding it, but you may not have the capacity to draw public attention. So learn to transfer content to those who can project you better than you. Thirdly, or fourthly, and most importantly, bear this in mind. If there is confusion, no matter what you want, you won't get it. No matter what makes you happy, it will not happen. And yes, if you're pressing somebody, too much energy will go into it. You'll never have any joy. So ask yourselves, what is it that if we all keep doing, we live well together without having each other, without any competition? That's what we need with a mission.
And we've literally got 30 seconds. 6 decades later, are Nigerians any closer to seeing themselves first as Nigerians before ethnicity?
No, they're not even seeing themselves as citizens. They're seeing themselves as indigenous of their villages, not even the state. Therefore, the Nigerian state of 1966, even up to probably 20 years ago, has disappeared. We are looking for identity at the subnational and national level. And the leadership at the national level is using ceremonies to pretend that we are united. If we win a football match, why don't we maintain this patriotism? That is football, not leadership. All people are hungry. So it's doable. We've lost a lot, it can't be regained, but right now we are the worst, at the lowest level possibly can be in terms of unity and national cohesion. That's my perspective.
On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed for your contributions, your assessment, your analysis, political analyst, executive director of Development Spencer Academy, member of the editorial board of this day newspaper, and professor of strategic management and human capital development, Professor K.K. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja and Umar here. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.